In Lesson 9.1, we're going to take a look at patterns and graphs. So first thing we're going to do is take a look at this word problem here. Graph the data in the table. The pattern in the first column suggests a horizontal interval of 20. So all the numbers on the side here go up by 20. Graphs that have from 6 to 10 intervals are easy to read. The greatest value in the second column is 50. So I know that when I set up my vertical axis, I need to go from 15 to 50 when I set it up. So we're going to divide 50 by a nice number between 6 and 10. So I'm going to choose 10 since 50 is divisible by 10. If I do 50 divided by 10, I get 5. So I'm going to set up 10 intervals of 5 for the scale. Now they didn't write all the 5s in, but here's a 5. Then will come 15, then 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. They marked it by 5, so each box represents 5, but they only labeled every 10 so that it was easier to read. And they did the same on the horizontal scale here. We had to go up to 100, so they went up by 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40, then 50 would be in here, 50, 60, then 70, 80, and 90 would be in here, and 100. So again, they went up by 10s, but they didn't have to label every 10 because it just gets pretty gross. So let's erase those numbers. Okay, so now, and then they just plotted the dots. So here's how that works. When we had 20 boxes, it cost $15. So I went 20, this is our boxes. We went up to 15, and we put a dot. That's what this dot right here represents. 20 boxes is $15. 40 boxes, so I go over to 40, is $25. Here's 25, and those two meet right here, so you put a dot where they meet. Okay, so you just put dots where the two numbers match up. And that's it. So now you try the quick check. You have to figure out which you want to put on the vertical axis. This is vertical. And which one you want to put on the horizontal. Money usually goes on the vertical axis. So in our quick check here, the price should go on the vertical axis and the amount of yogurt should go on the bottom. So you always have to label your graphs and then plot the dots to see where they fall. So pause the video, try that quick check before moving on. Now in the next example, we're going to use a graph to estimate a value. So the graph shows the cost of renting a bowling lane for an hour, which is the best estimate for the cost of the rental for 7 people. So 7 is not on the graph. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw in some lines on the graph to locate the value on the vertical axis that corresponds to 7 on the horizontal. That's an A. Okay. So here's where 7 would fall. So we draw a line going up, hit the line, and you come over. And the cost for rental for 7 people is about 22, and the answer here that is closest to 22 is about 20, so I would say choice B. Okay? And that's that. So now you're going to try the third. Let's take a look at the third example here. Let's say it wasn't multiple choice, and we have to estimate what's going to happen if I were to extend a graph. So estimate the cost of 600 gallons of water. Well, here's 600. That's where 600 would go. My graph kind of goes there, but let's extend it a lot. Okay, so 600, I go up to the graph, I go over, and it's ever so slightly less than $25, so I would say that it's about $25. Okay, and that's it. So you may have to extend the line. If you use a ruler to extend it, or like an index card, or something that has a straight edge on on it, you can extend your line a little bit better. So try the next two quick checks. You're going to use the two graphs already drawn, example 2 and 3, and estimate numbers that are not labeled on the graph. Okay, so fill those in, and we'll check your work in class.